Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be making a shaving video using a brush that was recommended to me by Michael Bustamante. Michael saw my videos on the Theta brushes and recommended to me the Vilong Lord Randal brush. This was one of his favorite brushes, and I believe it was actually this in his top 5 softest brush video. This was the #1 softest brush. So this is the Vilong silver tip brush. The Lord Randal. This is exclusive to Bull Goose Shaving, and there it is. It's got a kind of a green handle, sort of classic shape to the handle, with sort of a swirly green, light green, dark green pattern. It's got a silver tip knot that is bulb shaped, and I'm going to be using that in my shave today. I'm also going to be using the above the tie M2 base plate with my Titan razor. This has been talked about quite a bit on several of the Facebook forums as being a smooth shaving plate, and it is the mildest in the above the tie line, but it's been stated that even though this is the mildest in the above the tie line, it's not a super mild shaving razor in and of its own right compared to other open comb razors. I have used this and I'll give you my thoughts on it during the shave. So for my soap, I'm going to be using the Acqua di Parma Colonia soap. This is a kind of a classic Italian Colonia scent, and I'm sure everybody is familiar with this scent because lots of guys out there have the Razor Rock XXX soap, which basically has a scent that's very, very similar, if not exactly the same as the Acqua di Parma. So there it is, Acqua di Parma. I'm going to go ahead and give that a go. So I'm just going to go ahead and load the soap. I think they actually call this a cream, but it's more like a soft soap. So we're going to give the brush a generous loading here, and then we'll get hopping on the shave. Give that a nice generous loading, and I'm just going to wet my face here. I'll go ahead and lather up. I did soak the brush before the shave. However, before I loaded the soap, I did shake it out and give it a couple of good squeezes to get the bulk of the water out of the soap, or the bulk of the water out of the brush. So we're starting with a relatively dry brush, and I'm just going to add water and build the lather as we go. So as we apply the lather, it's kind of thick and pasty, as you can see. So I'm just going to turn the water on here, and I'll just add this a little bit at a time as we build the lather on the face. So I do have to agree with Michael, this brush is very soft. The interesting about this brush is as it dries, it actually retains its softness. A lot of the Badger brushes I have as they dry will get kind of crunchy, but this one retains its softness quite nicely. It does have a pretty decent backbone and a good flow through, which is always nice to have that combination. Sometimes you'll sacrifice flow through to get better backbone, and sometimes you'll sacrifice softness to get better backbone. But this brush seems to have a nice balance between the three components. So the handle's quite comfortable in the hand. It's a little bit longer than, say, a Chubby 3, and even a little bit longer than a Duke 3. And I think this brush really would be a good all-arounder for guys that like to face lather. It's a great face lathering brush, but also for guys that like to bowl lather. The handle is long enough that you're not getting lather all over your fingers. So Okay, I think that looks pretty good. I've always had pretty good luck with the Aqua de Parma cream slash soap. It seems to lather pretty easily, so we'll just put that aside and we'll go ahead and get started. In the razor, I have a feather blade. This feather blade is on its first shave. So on the first pass so far, this razor feels nice and smooth. I don't have any of the other open comb plates for the above the tie razor, so I can't really compare it to any of those. I do have the H1, which is the solid bar, and the R1, which is also solid bar, the H1 being the heavy or most aggressive, and the R1 being the middle aggressiveness. And I find that this one seems to be smoother than, certainly smoother than the H1, and actually even smoother than the R1. And that is at least my initial impression with this particular plate in the above the tie system. So here we go. And again, across the grain there, still feeling nice and smooth. No tugging or pulling going across the grain. So on third pass we'll go against the grain. And again, as you can see, the brush actually releases the lather quite nicely. It's not a lather hog. It's got really excellent flow through, and all in all, I'm pretty impressed with this brush. I think it really functions nicely. The knot is about 24 millimeters, and that's really a pretty good size, kind of a standard size brush. I do tend to like a little bit larger, 26, 28 millimeter knots, but this one's just fine. I don't have any problem with 24 millimeter. It's still within my what I would consider my sweet spot for knot sizes. So. Okay. Okay, there we go. All on good. And I'm just going to wipe some of the soap off my face. And boom. see what the shave feels like. Usually the first shave on the feather is usually pretty good. And I'll have to say the feather feels quite good in that razor. Really feels nice and smooth. So pretty good for 3 passes. A little bit of a stubble there that could probably be cleaned up if I really wanted to. Same right here. These tend to be the areas I have a little bit of trouble getting cleared off completely, but really the rest of the shave is pretty smooth. Not feeling really any irritation there, which is good. And so all in all, I'd have to say I'm so far pretty impressed with this open comb plate on the above the Titan razor. I'd say that to me it shaves very similar and feels very similar to the Icon Deluxe Open Comb, which is one of my favorite open combs. They're not overly aggressive, and for guys that shave every day, they work great. They're plenty efficient without being overly aggressive or harsh. So again, a nice shaving razor. Pretty impressed with that. I'm glad I finally broke down and got the base plate. So just to finish this off, since I used Aqua de Parma cream, I'm going to go ahead and use the Fine Italian Citrus. This is this scent of this is basically the same as the Aqua de Parma Colonia, and the only added bonus is it does have menthol in it. So really a great aftershave. I think I used that in my last shave. I'm really impressed with that. And I also have the Platinum too, which I've been using quite a bit, which I like a lot as well. That one smells very similar to Creed Aventus. At least the opening of the opening or the top of Creed Aventus. It doesn't have the real intense woody birch tar dry down, but the pineapple opening with the birch tar underneath, it definitely captures that quite well. So anyways guys, that's the shave today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a good rest of the weekend, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.